So previously, I threw in some lines of code here to help illustrate the meaning of the static keyword. But these lines of code bring up some of their own questions. So in the Java language, we do have to declare variables to use them. I can't simply say str equals hi. And that won't be happy, and the error message we get from this is that it cannot be resolved to a variable, so I can't assign it, I can't use it, can't do anything with it until I have declared it. And the declaration does, at this point in time, have to give a type and a name. Okay, and so this declaration is of type hello, which is the class we're in, and this one is of type int. Now people coming from Scala might notice something here. This is a lowercase I. In the Scala language, it is customary to make all types start with a capital letter, and indeed everything that's built into the language is, and so in Scala we would have this. That's not happy here. The difference isn't actually just in capitalization. One of the things about Java that is not object-oriented is the fact that it has true primitive types. When you declare an int, like a here, it is not an object. And what does that mean? Well, I can't say a dot anything. There's nothing that I could call at this point. In fact, this pop-up menu shows you that because it doesn't actually list any methods or members, whereas if I say h dot, I get a whole bunch of things that have these little green dots next to them because they are the methods that we have on hello, even though we haven't put much inside of hello. And I have to scroll down to get to these other things. But a does not have any methods in it. In Scala, you might be able to convert it to a string like that, or convert it to a char like that. That does not exist inside of Java. These primitive types are just values. They are not objects, they do not have any methods, nor do they have any members. They're a simple value. The reason for that is fairly simple. At the time when Java was created, this was a decision that they had to make in order to maintain performance. They knew that if the language didn't run fast enough, no one would use it. So they needed to keep performance in mind. There had been a previous language, Smalltalk, which was very object-oriented, probably the most object-oriented language ever created. And everything in Smalltalk is an object, and everything is done by calling methods on objects. But the problem with Smalltalk, and the reason why you don't likely do any Smalltalk programming today, is it was horrendously slow. Okay? They took a big performance hit because of their purity to object orientation. The creators of Java said, we can't do that. We need to have primitive types. And so types like int and double are primitives. And there's also char, boolean. I'm going to have to delete these because it's not going to be happy with them. Float, long, short, byte. So types that you would see in, for example, they're the same types that you have in Scala. They're very similar to what you would see in most other C family languages. In C, you wouldn't have byte, and there would be just the char instead. Also in C and C++, you'd be able to modify these with unsigned or signed, and that's not an option in Java. But these are your basic value types, and they are your primitive types. They do not have methods inside of them, so you can't call anything on them. That will wind up being significant to us in another way later on when we deal with voxing these things and what we have to do when we use them in the place of objects. So now that you kind of understand the primitives, we'll stop here and come back in the next video and talk about visibility of the methods that we put inside of our classes.